All right, all right. I think we good. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Well, I guess technically it's good afternoon. We are live. I am the anonymous Hebrew. This is debate talk for you, and this is one of those special live editions where we just want to get together and talk a little bit. We're gonna be talking today about Black Power, African spirituality in the Bible. Let's talk about it. Throughout the community, this seems to be a lot of the fight that's going on, right? We see Bible believers feeling like African spirituality goes against the grain. Some even people say that the Bible is not African. We have those that believe in African spirituality that believes that the Bible is purely a work of fiction or a work of the white man, or however people want to say it. There are those that believe in African spirituality and neither reject or accept the Bible. We're going to discuss that. And then we have our brothers, our Black Power brothers. That's power to the people. We're gonna dig into that. We're gonna dig and see what that sounds like. We're gonna see if these can coexist. We're gonna see if they can't. We're gonna talk about a lot of this. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna cry. We're gonna yell. We're gonna figure out how it all works out. So before we get started, I'm gonna go across the panel. Obviously, ladies first. That's right. We're not discriminating around here.
Yes, y'all are.
So let me introduce my sister, Miss Reese Roberts. Go ahead and introduce yourself,
Thank
sis.
you very much for the introduction. My name is Reese Roberts. I'm the host of Entertain the Thought, which is published now on SoundCloud. And I also do live broadcasts on Facebook and Instagram. So if you'd like to kind of explore through my content online, you can visit me at www.reeseroberts.com. Thank you.
All right, sis. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. She came in all nice. Don't trip, yo. She gonna beat y'all up. Y'all coming here talking crazy. Y'all better be
Somebody
cool.
better tell them.
All right, next we're gonna go to my brother coming fresh off of last night's trial. Uh,
Mm, mm, mm.
Uh,
one of my brothers that was in there with the Messianics on trial.
uh,
And then after that, went and did a debate over on Solar Vision Debate League. Shout out to Solar Vision Debate League, to my brother Solar Mine, my brother Orthodox Moore, all my family over there, brother Lex. Yes, my brother Lex. You still my brother, man. You know what I'm saying? This man, my brother, Yara Ben Nazareth. Go ahead, introduce yourself, family.
Shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom, family. Peace to the panel. Peace to you, Sister Roberts. Peace to Suave Beezy in the building. Peace to my brother Anonymous Hebrew. Man, nothing but love for you, Art. Man, shout out to Child Showtime, man. Appreciate you, man, for your platform, brother. Man, anybody want to get at me? I'm very accessible. I chops it up with anybody, man, on anything, man. We can get at it. So you can reach me on Facebook at Yara, Yarah, Ben Nazar, Nazr. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me at Elder Yara on my YouTube channel. Man, I'm downloading more content on there as we speak. Solar Vision Debate League. You can go through some of my debates. Man, shout out to the Argument League with Suave Boss. Man, chops it up. So been in the mix with it for a minute. Also on Facebook, you can check me out on Racism is not the N word. So man, check me out on that as well. You can get some some commentary. I just make little short commentaries, a little bloviating. I don't mind saying it. I put it out there, put a little op-eds out there every so now and again. Some articles, man, and we see how everything rocks and rolls, man. So man, I think conversation is the key, man. Conversation is the key. So man, let's chop it up, man. I'm excited about this topic, man.
All right, all right. That man Yara, like I said, did a double header yesterday. Was up all night putting in work.
Man, all night, man.
Finally, last but not least, my brother, the founder of the Argument League, former debater over at Solar Vision Debate League. This is how me and this brother became real cool. My guy, Suave Boss. Tell them about
Suave
yourself.
Beezy.
Absolutely. Appreciate the presence of everybody, man. And it's okay if I'm the least, because I'm on the panel with great people. So the least out of us still ain't bad. So it is what it is. Yes, this is absolutely Suave Boss of the Argument League, host of the Argument League, formerly in partnership with Solar Vision Debate League. Now branching off, sponsored by the Knowledge Radio. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. My sponsor, because that's how bills get paid. blogtalkradio.com/.
Do the
Knowledge Radio. Shout out to Knowledge, man. Shout out to Anonymous, Sal, Yara, and the Queen Sis Reese. I appreciate all y'all love. Everybody who's tuning in, appreciate y'all caring enough to even be here. It is what it is, man. Suave Boss. The Argument League. Subscribe. Thank you.
Man, and shout out to my man Do the Knowledge. I gotta call him. Don't beat me up, Knowledge. Your brother been busy, man. I've been busy. So let me get my greetings and my intros out the way. First off, Shabbat Shalom to the family. All those that know what that's about. You know what I'm saying? Shalom Mishpachah. I am the Anonymous Hebrew. I'm the host of The Verdict. I am also the co-host of the Man Up segment that is hosted by my brother B.A. Ben Abraham. Hopefully he'll be able to pull up and come through and spend some time with us today as well. That's pretty much all I got. I love everybody. It's great to have my brothers and my sister on the panel. If you pull up and you like the conversation, you know, and if we have some type of history, or even if you just got something you want to add, if we got enough room on the panel, I'll shoot you the link. You can come through. Remember, keep it clean, keep it professional, no cussing, but we are going to turn it up. So, with all that being said, let's get into it. First things first, I want to dig into the Black Power thing, right? I'm going to let my boy Suave get into this. And so there's this concept of this old school Black Power mentality, right? Oh, you know what? Before we go any further, I don't want to bring the mood down, but I do got to say this because it just came to my attention. I just found out earlier. I want to send all strength and prayers out to my brother, Bishop Eliyahu. He suffered a loss in his family. He lost his mother, and we will be praying for him. We will keep him up in prayer. Once I get the pertinent details, we'll be putting that out. But we definitely are praying for that brother. So we send our strength. We send all our prayers.
Absolutely.
We send all our love.
Strength to him. Strength and patience to you, Eliyahu, man, and your family, fam.
All right. So I meant to take care of that. And so, you know, I always want to acknowledge our family when we're praying for them. So now back to the Black Power concept. So one of the main reasons, you know, I've had good conversations with all these people on the panel. And one of the main things that I see is there's some things that we can agree with. There's some things that we disagree with. And it seems like that line always gets drawn with the Bible, right? There's some form of fashion where we see the line drawn with the Bible. So the first thing I want to do is I want Suave to kind of come in and talk about his concept of what Black Power is today. And then kind of say, you know, obviously where he sees the disconnect pertaining to the Bible. So first off, Brother Suave, and obviously my brother and my sister on the panel, y'all feel free to jump in.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, Black Power is something that people romanticize, like a lot of things. And us as blacks can't afford to do that. We have to look at it as what it is. So things have to be updated. Every day you wake up, you update. You put away the programs that no longer, you know, are beneficial, and you update and use the ones that are, and you install the new ones that. And so Black Power is no longer, because when we used to say Black Power, we would say white power to the whites, yellow power to the yellow, red power to the red. Well, everybody's been checked off that list. Everybody's got their power except for the blacks. And so we continue to scream Black Power. Today is not like a marching type of Black Power, a stand in front of your building type of Black Power. Like, we need to literally make a move type of Black Power. We're not in agreements with none of this that's going on here. We're not trying to find our place in it. We're not trying to, you know, well, the Democrats need a Black Power agenda. No, they don't. We need to recognize and define ourselves for ourselves in today's times at today's rate and do what we have to do. So I really don't want people to look at it like kill whitey or anything like that. I'm not driven on hate. I love my people. I'm not thinking of no one else. And that's how people like to paint it when they explain Black Power. Oh, you just want to, well, why ain't you out there? Listen, I love my people. Black Power is truly righteousness and it's truth. And a lot of the time, that's the disconnect with the Bible. Because when we're trying to establish ourselves in a literary form, you know, like starting actual communities that focus on us, the Bible is always the gateway that is used for types of integrating, a certain type of tolerance for things that we cannot afford to tolerate. And it's simply because we have the Bible, and anybody who studies the Bible, they take the Bible, set it down, open it up, and they read it. They stop from their heart, or they open up another source. So if we're opening up the Bible, which leads us to another source, then we choose the other sources. We like to know the real names and the real times and the real historical events. Like it's not worth, you know, looking through the book and trying to pick apart and redefine. Like, we're doing the research, but we're not actually updating the information. So that's like my discontent with it. So that's my brief thing on what Black Power is. I'm sure a lot more will be questioning and come out. So I do see my time to the sis if she wants to go in on how she feels about Black Power.
Of course, I do. I do think that Black Power has to be put into a proper context when it comes to modern times, because human evolution definitely tells a story, but it also has certain requirements of humanity. And what we're looking at right now is trying to define power for ourselves as individuals and also as a community. And so for me, Black Power means understanding your enemy, understanding how you're being attacked, and understanding how you can defend yourself against those attacks. And so for me, it's very evident and apparent that I'm under spiritual, mental, and physical attack. And so when I assess those, the damages that are occurring in those different respects, then I find my power in counteracting each one of those attacks. So if I know that I'm under mental attack, then I'm going to do everything I can to learn and educate myself, because the goal of the attack is for me to be ignorant and for me to be uneducated about what is happening and unaware of what my enemy is doing behind the scenes. So the way to have power is to make sure that you understand also how to use the power. And so when I empower myself by learning, I'm not just learning so that I can have information sitting in my head. I'm learning so that I can act and move on that information. And that is essentially what defines my power, is how well I'm able to develop my tactics, my strategies to retaliate or to defend, and then allow that to show its force against my enemy and allow my response, the way I'm responding to how I'm being attacked. That to me is Black Power. And it to me is very inspiring to see how we're all responding to our attacks, because we're responding in the same ways. I think out of sheer resentment for the Caucasian race, a lot of us are doing what we can to educate ourselves, even to the point where we are obsessing about education. We're obsessing about facts, knowledge, and statistics. We're kind of obsessing about these things because we know that our oppressor doesn't want us to know. And out of just sheer resentment, like, F you, I'm getting ready to learn because you don't want me to know. And it's plain that, it's a form of self-empowerment. I think, again, that is where Black Power comes from, where we're looking at how we're being attacked and we're like, nah, I ain't with this. I'm getting ready to do everything I can physically, possibly, spiritually, mentally do so that I can retaliate.
Facts.
All right, Sister Reese. All right.
Fire.
Be quiet. Nah, thank you for that, Sister Reese.
Mm.
My brother Yara, are you in the building?
So yeah, I'm here. Shalom, shalom, family. Yeah, so this is a very interesting topic, man. It is one that I feel needs to be discussed more, within our Hebrew or Israelite community, among our Black people, a Black family as a whole. So, like, I draw from certain aspects of experience, life experience, and different theological understanding. So, like, for me, like, James Cone, right? James Cone, is what you call maybe a black liberation theologist. Um, Wrote several things, and one of the questions that he always had was how um, does black power? How can you define black power, um, and reconcile that with the Bible, especially when we're especially in light of our existential situations of an oppressed community, right? And that relates to the forces of liberation, and how do we see that to the essence of the gospel, along with belief in in Christ or whatever, and different things like that. And so basically his question was, what does the Bible, or what does believing in God, have to say to a powerless black men and women in this country, right? Whose existence is threatened daily, by insidious acts and tentacles of white power, you know. So how do we sort of use that? And so even last night in my debate, I brought up the example of Nat Turner, right? And so we kind of understand whether some of us believe the accounts that we have of Nat Turner are wholeheartedly true in some aspects, or some are made up fictions or myth. But we see how we have this notion, right, of an oppressed person, oppressed man, a black man, right? Still, as we kind of see today, how he goes into the scriptures and then he finds purpose. But he finds purpose, right, not in the things that just heightens him spiritually, but things that will free him naturally, right? Because more so than his spiritual understanding of the scriptures and what it was saying to him, he also understood that with that comes a level of liberation, right? And, or what we consider our right to be free people, right? And so we see this throughout the scripture, right? We see this with the understanding of Moses and the Exodus, leading a people, whether you believe in its accuracy or its truth or not. We see this sort of black liberation movement, right? These people coming under from an oppressed people that were not indigenous to their land, moving into their own land, right? Looking to build and live their own lives separate from those of their oppressors. We see these sort of motifs throughout the scriptures, right? But I think that sometimes when we go through the different things that we deal with, like police brutality, um, education, when we deal with things like crime in our high crime in our community, when we deal with things like what do you call it, joblessness in our communities, different things that affects us daily, the destruction of the Black family, different things like that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Those things a lot of times sort of overtake our understanding and our need for a spiritual reckoning or a spiritual revival, right? But we see that our people going through the effects of the slave trade, going through the effects of the oppression from the white man, quote unquote, different things like that. These oppressive systems that we find ourselves under, our people only survive, right, through a strong spiritual connection. If it wasn't back just to the motherland or to the scriptures or to whatever belief system they held to, or just the spiritual sense of community, right, or family, we still held a high regard for spirituality in our lives. And I think where we are today as a whole, we're getting back to that slowly, but we've had so many years of oppression that we don't really see the effects or the importance of having a spiritual sense or understanding or connection to the universe, or to even a God, whether you find it in the Bible or whether you find it, wherever you seek, your religious beliefs from. I think we sort of push that all to the side together, and we're looking at instances where we feel like we're constantly underfoot, we're constantly under attack, right? And so, in order to cover up under these things, we still need a level of spirituality, because spirituality still connects us, right? Even if we don't have the same experiences, even though we're being oppressed by the same forces, we still all can't relate to the same experiences under the same oppression, right? And so we have to have something that connects us, right? And spirituality is one thing that's always done that for us, right? And so I think that we have to have not just a focus on our natural man, but also on our spiritual man, right? And so I think that once we start to focus on both these aspects, because once you do that, then you have a balance, right? And we need balance in order to make harmony. We need harmony in order to make peace. So with that, I'm gonna fall back.
All right. So yeah, so we done got into the meat a little bit, and if you're paying attention, you can see the different viewpoints already, right? So, as we deal with this thing, right? Y'all, hold on 1 second.
Wait. Yeah.
I had to talk to wifey real quick. As you see this thing, right? So my question or my concern is then the concept of the hate or the disdain or the thought that we need to put down the Bible, because I agree wholeheartedly with the point that the brother Yar was making about we see this concept of liberation, right? Whether it be, because Swab was talking about power to the people, power to the blacks, power to the reds, right? Power to whomever, right? We see this concept of liberation throughout the Bible, right? So if we see the concept of liberation throughout the Bible, right, why is there this pushback for using the Bible as the tool for liberation? Whoever wanted.
I'll take it. There is, I believe, quite a bit of pushback for using the Bible as a tool of liberation, because we don't necessarily know who did what to the Bible. For me personally, there's an overarching truth about books and about the authors of those books. And we have to just humble ourselves and recognize that no matter how much history is told, how much research is done, is that none of us were there when that book was written. And even so, if we were, you have to know that the Bible was written as an explanation of a person's, an individual's interpretation of spirituality. It's just if I were to write a how to on how to do a fresh twist out on my hair, or if I were to write a book about how to, build an efficient car, I would be writing those books based on my personal interpretation of what the best way to accomplish this might be. And I think that what most people who push back are beginning to realize is that whoever wrote these books, their opinion about the matter is no more important than mine. And if I know myself and I love myself as the book has instructed me to do, then I shouldn't need any further guidance, any further instruction, or any further commandment or covenant in order for me to operate in my best interest as a creator should. And I also believe there's a lot of pushback because of the lack of context that's being used in the application of the scriptures and the meanings of those scriptures. Um, I always like to use this as an example to sort of demonstrate to people what I see happening with the Bible and its meaning and its allegory. I could easily say that half of 8 is 3. And I'm going to demonstrate this visually because it doesn't make any sense to say it out loud. So everybody knows that half of 8 is 4 logically and in all truth. It's an empirical truth that half of 8 is 4. But if I show you this number 8 and then I cut it in half visually, just visually, it looks like a 3. And so this is what I see people doing all the time with the Bible, is that they look for the lesser truth. Because if I tell you that half of 8 is 3 and then I show you this little visual illusion, then I'm right. That is a 3 on the paper if I cut half of that off of there. But that's not the original meaning of what half is. When you have something, you take away half of its value. And so this is something that we have to start realizing in the applications of the Bible, is that a person can perceive a lesser truth and still be as firm on that lesser truth because it's still truth. It's not empirical. It's not universally applicable. It doesn't have any use, because even though it's true that this visually looks like a 3 when I cut it in half visually, I can't do anything with that besides a cute little nifty trick. But in truth, if I give you half of 8 and I give you 4, you can do all kinds of mathematically accurate things with that. And so this is what I would love for our people to understand about the book, is that it is a manual. And yes, it does have value if you know how to apply it. But to simplify it only to your understanding and to only accept the understanding that you've been given, instead of you developing and learning outside of the Bible. This is another reason I think we're pushing back on this. This is why I'm personally pushing back, is that a lot of people like to reserve their educational development on just the book of the Bible. And to me, that is futile. To me, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. It's a waste of a lot of things that could be applied to more productivity and what your natural gifts and talents are. Because once you know something, if you've read the Bible in its totality one time, why do you need to continuously go back over it and read it again in its entirety over and over and over again, constantly referring back to the same lessons? I understand that when you read them again, they have different meanings, different contexts. You know, you can extrapolate differently depending on how you're reading the Bible. And trust me, I studied the Bible for years, but what it didn't do was answer very, very, very important questions. Like, why is it that the Bible will tell us that we are creators, that are one with the source, and that we are God? But yet we still rely on some personified outside force to do the creating for us. If we want to be wealthy, we ask for wealth instead of creating it ourselves. If we want peace, we ask for peace instead of creating it ourselves. If we want happiness, we ask for happiness instead of creating it ourselves. The Bible tells us that we are creators and that we create one with the source. So there's no need to ask outside of yourself. What you do is you ask inward to yourself. If I want peace, you ask yourself, hey, self, how do we create peace? Because this is what we want in our reality. And this is the universal law that we operate on. You create whatever it is you want. Do what thou wilt. That's where that comes from. So I'll close with that.
That's what's up. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I think one of the things is that we have to be accepted. We, mean the Black power people, the people that don't believe in the Bible. The people who believe in the Bible have to accept the way that we use the Bible. You know, it's like, because when you're a child, they tell you it's the true word of God, it's God's word, and it's true and accurate and right. Then as you grow older and you study it, you find out it's not. And instead of telling the children, we continue to let them come into this. Is looked at as offensive to say these things. But once you really actually study the Bible, once you read the Bible, and you read the Bible 6-7 times, you start studying the names and the places and the dates, and you start seeing the inaccuracies, then you have to understand that it's not correct and true and exact. Now, that's okay, because we're able to do the research now that can line these things up and make them make sense. But the inability of people to update their data, where it's like, oh no, well, the earth only been around for 6,500 years, and then you find information that contraries that, then it's like, oh yeah, but and it's like an abusive relationship where they're willing to just make an excuse for it, and then just to continue with it. We could instantly write another Bible, like right now. Like, we have enough knowledge of the Bible to rewrite the Bible and make it make the sense that it's supposed to make. Everybody who believes in the Bible, that studies the Bible to a certain degree, must admit that, and will admit that it's been tampered with. They won't go into details to tell you, the councils that did it and the reasons why and what was added and what was taken away. But they can admit that that's happening. So I say, well, okay, well, what's wrong with having that discussion and bringing forth that truth? Well, I mean, they know it's a rabbit hole that's going to lead to the destruction of, 92% of what it is, because there's some truth in it. There's some math in it. There's some astrology in it. There's some very good principles in it. There's principles in a lot of books. It's astrology in a lot of books. But what you don't get in these other sources is the white supremacist mind state that the certain people were set above the whole earth. And they are the special people connected to God, what they call God. When I know that the creator is the true creator, in that it created everything. You can't call it a man, a woman. It's very offensive to try to give it a name or a turn or a title like it's your child. It created you. So my thing is just this inability to rationalize when it comes to talking about real things, when it comes to the Bible. A lot of people like to play like they don't know things. They want to just see if you know it. Well, show me where you, and then when you show it, they be like, oh yeah, I mean, that's. So let's stop testing each other on it. We know it. We don't need to study another papyrus. We don't need another 2,000 years worth of, let's correct this. We have enough. We're homeless. We're hungry. We're in abusive relationships. And we're embracing it. It's our music. It's our television. They try to coin that to us. Like, we're the progenitors of abusive relationships and drug abuse and alcohol abuse, when we're only following the footsteps of the path that we're on. This been here, this alcohol abuse. You can't drink more alcohol than white America. There's no way you could consume more drugs than 285 million people when you're only 44 million people. But yet here we are. So just when things get real like that, I don't think that, biblical things hold up. And I think we need to give it a break. I think we need to catch up with life, and then we'll be able to afford to study these things again.
That's a really important. I'm sorry. Let me give an opportunity for everybody else.
Whoa. All right. I'm going to let Yara get in, but there's a lot that I need to touch on. Okay. Mm-hmm. Definitely respect your views, both, but there are a few things that I feel we got to get clear. All right. And this becomes my issue. The concept, number one, of reading the Bible one time or 10 times and saying, oh, that's it. That's all we need. Peace to the brother Yashar. Peace to the brother Yashar. Welcome to brother Yashar to the panel. Obviously, brother Yashar, you know the rules. This debate talk for you. You know what I'm saying? So certain things that we do on other panels we can't do here, but we definitely want to turn up. Just keep it clean, keep it professional. You know what I'm saying? So as we start to explore this, right? Um, my concern is that we are looking at this from a perspective. You say, okay, I read the Bible once, or I've read the Bible 10 times. Why do I need to keep going over it? Number one, because evidently it didn't take hold, right? Because the brother Swab brought up a point about we still homeless, we still this, we still doing that. Well, if the Bible that you read really took effect, then we wouldn't be having people in our communities that are homeless or hungry or going through these things, because one of the main things that the Bible teaches you to do is to look out for your brother, right? Another thing that the Bible tells us to do is, while we're in quote unquote captivity, we are to set up infrastructure, right? While we are here, we are to set up infrastructure that takes care of us as a whole. So the concept number one, that we need to just read it and then kind of put it down, I kind of push back on that. The other thing that I would push back on is the concept of what did the brother say? We need to rewrite the Bible, or we need to just kind of argue with, or however you put it, brother Swab. I don't want to I don't want to mess up what you said, right? But the other concern that I would have is, how can we rewrite something that we haven't even taken the time to properly understand first? Meaning, when I hear certain things about what you think the Bible says, I have to wholeheartedly once again push back, because if you were saying certain things, it means you don't understand what it says. You haven't taken the time to even read it in its original language, in its original context, to even understand the concept of, like I said, for instance, community, right? Or for instance, love for our sisters, rather than the misogyny that we think exists in there, right? Love for my fellow brother, rather than, um, oh, I hate you because you're not an Israelite, right? This concept that we hear other people pushing is not necessarily the concept of the Bible. Is there a chosen, quote unquote, chosen people? Sure. But what is that people chosen to do? That should be the real focus, right? Whoever that people group is supposed to go out and show the rest of the world how to right this system, because this system is what's corrupt. Right now, I ain't gonna get on my soapbox because I want to allow everybody else to get in.
No,
So
that's what's up. Yeah. No,
those are
I
just the two
reiterate
things.
what I said. For my people that's in the Bible, we could rewrite a Bible. I don't feel it is necessary, but we could easily do that. Now, as far as reading the Bible and putting it down, read the Bible like you read any other book. Implement what's good into your life. Be it and be that example. And there's no reason to say don't eat pork when you're not eating pork. And when your kids are born, you're not eating pork. They're not eating pork. A lot of the times when you see these laws that are written, they're written by a people that's not obeying them, giving it to a people that they're trying to control. If the governmental body did not commit these crimes, the people would not feel that they could commit these crimes. But when the government bootlegs liquor, has prostitution, gambling, and murder, then how do you turn around and convince the people that this is not justifiable on your level? So it's just like it's ridiculous the means that we'll go. Read it, integrate it into your life, and let's keep going. There's no reason for me to master the Bible. There's no reason for you to master the Bible. We as a whole have the Bible. We have it. If I don't know it, you know it. Yara know it. The sister know it. Yashara know it. You know, but it's like, then when does it stop? Because it's children being born right now. They haven't mastered it. So it's a circulatory thing that throws us off from addressing right now, when it keeps us studying 2,000 years ago and basing things off how it went 2,000 years ago. We have Moses today. We have Jesus today. We have Abraham today. We have a lot of great brothers and sisters that do great, awesome things that failed because we didn't glorify it in this right light. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's like the contention for the Bible is fixable. It's just the believers are gonna have to have patience and understanding with us. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, big bro.
I want to pass it over to Yara and then Brother Yashar, and then I'll come back.
All right. Sleep at the office. Unmute your mic, brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, shalom, shalom. Yeah, man. I just see it like this, right? Uh, even when we look back into our ancient times, not everybody was a priest. Okay, so because we have access to the scriptures now, um, and we don't have one or a group of priests that we actually have to go to get understanding, you know, people take things out of context. Uh, People take things and use it to try and manipulate others. That's not studied up as they probably should be, or probably should have been raised to be. So when we have these type of topics, right, it's not about doing away with anything. It's about understanding our lanes. So we have certain brothers that's going to use this foundation to accomplish their goals. Then you're going to have other brothers that's going to use other things to accomplish their goals. Well, I'll say this. We come to a mutual agreement and we work together if it's possible. You don't have to change your way of doing things, just long as you're not doing things that's going to be in a negative light towards our major goal, which is to come together and accomplish this one goal. Okay. So this one goal would say, let's start building a community, right? Now, me being an Israelite, knowing everybody that's going to be involved, I have a choice to make. Do I want to live in that community that I'm helping build? Or do I want to help build and then talk to my brothers and say, well, look, because of the way things are ran and, maybe the way things are being done, I would like some help so that I can establish mines over here so that I can do this and do that. So it won't be a conflict between each other. I don't see why that should be a problem. Like, remember the concept, Suave, that you was talking about concerning your house of bricks, my house of straw?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you help me build, it's the Three Little Pigs analogy. Help me build my house of straw. I help you build your house of bricks, because everybody conceive their way as the right way. So you're looking at my house as a house of straw. I'm looking at your house as a house of straw, but I'm willing to help you build it because I know I need you to help build mine. Exactly. So instead of, just support each other. That's it.
Yeah. So, so let me say this. When people, I hear a lot of people say that all the time. I read the Bible, 10, 100, 20,000 times. And, at the end of the day, I still come away with just as many questions, right? But I think people, a lot of times, when you study, you can't study for what you're looking for. You have to study for exactly what it says. And let me give you an example, because I use this quite often, right? When it comes to economics for our people, we say, oh, the Bible doesn't teach us or doesn't give us anything to do with economics because it has something to do more with keeping us oppressed, or it doesn't have anything in there, or the principles in there, we can't really equate them today. Well, it does actually teach you when you come among your community how you should even treat them, right? So I'm going to read the scripture, right? So Exodus 22 and 24, right? Listen to this. And I want my black people, brothers and sisters, to really understand this, right? Exodus 22 and 24. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people, right, even to the poor with thee, right, thou shalt not be to him as a creditor, neither shall ye lay upon him interest. So you mean to tell me that the Bible teaches us that as Israelites or people in our community, that when we lend to our brothers money, we should not lend to them and be a creditor unto them?
Now let me show you why we greater than that. Who made the notion of money?
Well,
why are we even dealing with this monetary system?
Suave,
let me finish for a second. Just let
him finish real quick, because he waited for everybody. Let him just finish.
Yeah, let me Let me address you that, right? Right. So Leviticus 25 and 36. I'm gonna read something else real quick, just so I can give you some precepts, right? So I read Exodus 22 and 24, Leviticus 25 and 36. Take thou no interest of him or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Right? What is that saying? So what I'm saying is, when you say let's how we're better than that, I'll show you why we're not better than that. So here's why. See, here's the misconception of everything is a free for all. Everything is free. How do you relegate the greed? You understand? How do you put a cap on greed? Because it's wrong and it's a misconception and it's actually highly illogical for you, Swab Boss, to think that everyone has the same heart and mind that you do. Yeah, you can go and plant plant an apple tree, or help your brother build a brick house or a straw house, or the three little pigs theory. But why would I even really want to help you build the straw house? Because every time the wind blows, I got to stop what I'm doing to go back to help you build another straw house, when you should just build a brick house. That's the three little pigs theory.
I agree with you.
Why would you build your house on sinking sand?
I agree. That's the whole point.
No, listen,
of helping somebody build theirs. Because once the straw house blows
but
down,
I'm
then
not
now
going
we
to help you build the straw house. I'm not going to help you build the straw house just because that's what you want. You understand?
But you know it's in the but what you're missing is that it's an analogy. So what I'm saying is that you take the route that you want to take, and I support you. You support me, and when
I'm
one
not
of these
supporting you in your folly, a straw house is foolishness.
I agree. I agree. And you
hold on, Yar. Let him get it.
And you've come to the conclusion that the route I'm going is already false. Now, what made you come to that conclusion? I want to ask, but it would take for the wind to blow and actually knock it down. Then I must agree with you. Yeah, my house was a house of straw. Then I would build what I would conceive to be closer to what your house is. That's the intelligence that we must have. I wouldn't continuously ask you to build a straw house that's failing like you've been doing me, because that's what we've been dealing with. Now, as far as the monetary, why would I even deal with money? Okay, now let's say we're dealing with money. If Yara needs $100, Swab can't afford to give him $100. So I can loan it to you, right? And then you can give it back to me in a reasonable time. Or let me tell you this, I can afford to give you 10. Sister Reese can afford to give you 10. Anonymous, Sal, Shar, Rob, DJ Black Trump. 10 people can afford to give you $10. Now you have your $100 and there's nothing. That's how we move. That's how we move. My point is that that we didn't come from the book. The book came from us. The intelligence that's in there, we are the source of it. And so we have it, but you when you're dealing with the Bible, you're automatically dealing with the people that's in a certain situation. Therefore, you're voluntarily putting yourself in that situation for these rules to apply. Now, I'm not. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, I want to interject. I would love to interject right now, because I agree with the rhetoric about us really having to deal with what we know and only what we know. Brother Swab just said, we don't come from the book comes from us. And that is what, to me, is the overarching truth, is that, like I said before, every book that is ever written by any person is their interpretation of whatever it is they're writing. And that individual has no more authority spiritually to determine what is and what isn't for other people. They can only share what resonates with them in hopes that it will resonate with the others who are reading and receiving whatever it is that they've written as an interpretation. And so I wanted to also talk about a statement that was made about us reading the Bible over and over again. And the notion that the Bible is not the problem, but yet we are. The brother said, obviously, we're not getting it. That's the reason why we need to keep reading it. And to me, that's a bit of an insult to the people and their intelligence. All of us are thinkers. I studied that Bible for a few years and it didn't make sense to me. I'm a highly intelligent person. And so some of the unanswered questions that came from the doctrine, from the scripture, and the socio-political aspects, it didn't resonate with me. I don't understand how we can have so many churches on the street corner, on every corner. How can we have these places that are supposed to be a light to the person and to the community still reign ineffective, going on and on ineffectively in our communities? And we are looking at ourselves like we're the problem. That looks to me like it's a self-esteem issue. And that looks to me like it's a person who does not know what they're mentally and spiritually capable of. Because when somebody tells me a lie, I'm no fool. I know what a lie is. You can't tell me that I should have a free spirit and that I should be able to prosper and have happiness and have things to make sense and be in decency and in order. All of that is in the Bible. But then you throw me into a society where there is none of that, where none of that exists. And then you tell me I'm the problem, but yet the church is the majority there. It can't be that entire institutions are set up for religious doctrine to have a certain effect. Everybody thinks that it's a positive effect that the church is supposed to have because of the doctrine that it preaches. But then when you turn around and look at the outcome, you see none of those effects taking place. You see none of those side effects actually affecting the people the way the religion says that it should. And that's not an indictment on the people. That's an indictment on the religion. That's an indictment on the book. That's an indictment on the interpretation. That is an indictment on the source of whoever created this distorted version of the science that we had. And you must understand that the Bible is a scientific work of art. It is a literary piece of art. And I'm going to tell you, there's no way that reading the Bible over and over again will ever create one accord with the people. Why? This is what I wrote when you said that. People will always have a different and or opposing views because the Bible is a literary work of art that displays the essence of the universal laws of relativity, polarity, and duality. So what that means is, first of all, relativity and polarity means that and duality, we're dual natured people. We have a light and a dark. We have an up and a down. We have an in and an out. We have duality. So when you have relativity coming into play with reality, you ask a person, what does this scripture mean? And then you give them that scripture. You could ask 10 different people, what does the same scripture mean? All 10 of those people will give you different interpretations. All 10 of those people will give you different understandings on different levels of what that one scripture meant. And so there will never be one accord because there will never be one or all people who think one way. We all have different ways of thinking. That's what makes us unique individuals. So to put a piece of literary artwork, hold on.
You're saying a lot, sis. You're saying a lot.
And so did everybody else.
Whoa, sis, hold on.
I'm just trying to get my thought out.
This is the only point I'm saying for everybody to respond, because you giving a lot of great points, right? And for everybody, in order to give us the chance to kind of respond to some of them, I'm gonna have to start asking all of us, not just you, but just all of us, to kind of keep.
Okay, I was gonna say, dang, everybody else.
No, I'm gonna
30 minutes.
No, I'm gonna let you rock. I'm gonna let you rock. I just want to put it out there because normally I do that. I did that the first time, and I didn't do it this time. But after this, after we get the next go around, let's try to keep all of our statements to like 3 minutes if possible. All right. So that way, because there are some great points coming out, and I want to be able to address all of those points. You feel me, sis?
Sure.
Keep going.
So why take a literary piece of art?
Okay, thank you.
Right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut your build. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to, because it's so much that you're saying that we need to address, and I want to give everybody a chance to address it all. So let's keep going though.
Okay.
But this what the sister's also doing that I see her doing. She taking notes. So
I am.
Right,
You see,
right.
I have a
So,
pen in my hand.
well, I hope that
so
everybody else
when
is
she hit
doing
a
that.
good point, you're gonna have to take a note, mental note, or write it down or something.
Right, because I like to let people get their stuff out. So I just write down what am I thinking about, but whatever. This is not my thing. So I'm just gonna let y'all rock how you want to rock. But like I said, to me, a literary work of art is like looking at an abstract painting. Every person who observes and takes this in is going to interpret it a different way. They're going to have a different feeling, a different understanding, a different experience with that work of art. And so I think that we need to start accepting that truth, that we are living in a universe of relativity, where whatever is true for me is not always true for everyone else. And so the Bible, because of that, cannot be used as a standardized or institutionalized system of religion. It just doesn't work that way to say this is the set of rules that everybody needs to follow and this is going to work. That's not how the universe is set up. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Thank you, sis. Yo, she coming. She coming. Y'all better, y'all gonna force me to have to jump out the host seat and have
Hey,
to get active. Y'all better, sisters, she knocking at the door. Y'all better say something.
look, listen. Let me say this about what a literary work of art is, right? So, as an accomplished artist, right? Anybody wants to check me out? Check me out. As an accomplished artist, right? Even in abstract paintings, or what is conceived as abstract, it's only abstract to those who's viewing it. It's not abstract to the creator, right? The creator already knows what its purpose is, why he created it, and what he was thinking or what he intended for its purpose to be in his creation. See, an abstract artist, he doesn't paint not knowing. He paints hoping that you'll see what he sees. And that is the understanding of the scripture, right? Is that is God's relation to us and hoping that we see what he sees, right? And so a lot of times we go into the book and we try to extrapolate things because we don't understand it, because we're so well educated by other men that we've taken from other people's writings or literary works of art, and we consider that education, right? I consider myself highly educated, right? But when I'm reading someone else's work, I can't project my thoughts into what I think they're trying to say instead of listening to what the author is actually saying. So when the scripture tells me greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world, when he tells me that I'm more than a conqueror, right? These are things that agree with who I am, or these may be things that agree with not who I believe I may be. But if you constantly reaffirm yourself, or if the scriptures are constantly reaffirming you that you're greater than maybe what you think you are, then you can move differently. It's no different from any other thing that any one of us write or put out on our YouTube shows. You're constantly affirming your audience, whether someone perceives it negatively or positively. The person who's relating the message, is it really, is the onus on them for their audience to really get or not get what it is that they're putting out there? In some aspects, it is. But truth is relative. That doesn't mean the truth changes, but it's relative to those who look for it. We all seek truth for different reasons in our lives. Some people seek truth to affirm the reason why they need to be racist, right? You can go and you can look at the criminal statistics of black folks, and you can see that it's high in certain areas. You can go and you can look at the highest abortion rates in this country, and you can perceive that as evil if you're looking for that. If you're looking for that. But if I'm looking for the truth that the author is intending to relate to me, then that's how I should be looking at it. See, an extraction is not just what the author or the painter or the creator is giving. No author or creator creates an abstraction. See, that's just how that term is for the viewer when you're viewing art. Because why? It's not that it's left open to interpretation, because the artist is already given his interpretation in exactly what it is. But as you have to seek your own truth.
I don't want to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
How can a person confirm the meaning of an interpretation without having the creator there present to verify what that interpretation actually meant?
Well, again, this is what I'm saying. As an artist, right? Matter of fact, when you write an art, do you write articles? I don't know if you write. You seem like you may be a writer, right? You may write some things, right? So when you write things, right, and you add some colloquialisms, or you write some idioms in there, do you ever have anyone who actually questions you about what it is you're writing before they actually give what you're actually writing or what you actually meant before they give an opinion?
The two things occurred simultaneously for me. When people read, they're asking questions and telling me what it meant to them at the same time.
Okay, so no one's ever said to you, "Listen, I read this piece of work that you created, and you said this, or I believe you meant this." No one's ever approached you that way. No one's ever taken the liberty to take what you wrote and extrapolate the knowledge that you put out in something and try to apply it to their lives, where it's not something that you even meant for it to be. Right?
Absolutely, that happens.
It happens all the time, right? So when we read the scriptures and people say, well, that white man had to write that Bible because it talks about slavery, and so it must justify slavery. It justifies rape of women. It justifies killing and this and that. Well, when we read the scriptures without careful study and actually having a context outside of the scriptures also that supports it, you can create your opinion. But the Bible, there's no new interpretation left open to the scriptures. It means what exactly it means.
So
right?
I'm asking you this. So who compiled the book?
You said what?
Who compiled the Bible?
All right, hold on.
That's another false equivalency.
Before we get there, because that's gonna take us a whole nother direction. Before we go there, I want to introduce the brother Aboriginal Hebrew, Albo. You there?
I see Yashar been trying to.
Albo, please, bro. Brothers, what's up, sis? I'm just listening right now, y'all. Y'all know I'm formulating these questions, man. Keep talking.
All right, so I want to get the brother Yashar to come in and just put a button on this topic, and then we'll go to how the Bible was compiled. I'm gonna come right back to you, Swab. I promise.
All right, cool.
Sure, bro.
I just want to touch on what the sister has brought out about religion. It's a difference when you're dealing with our heritage versus religion, right? Religion, it established people trying to establish power, people trying to establish followers, and even deals with finances, money, things of that nature. When we're dealing with our heritage, it deals strictly with my personal relationship, not only with the Most High, but also with my sisters and my brothers. Like how I'm supposed to, like I can't have a relationship with my creator if I can't even have a relationship with my brother and my sister that I see and I talk to every day. When we deal with our heritage, it teaches us how to deal properly, how to deal with love, how to treat my brother and my sister as I treat myself. These things are not really pushed and taught and brought out like it should be. You know what I'm saying? It's more things that's led towards, division and separation. Well, we can get to that once we establish the love for one another. The separation comes from just simply those who think and move different than us. They separate themselves by their actions, by their words. It's nothing physical that we have to do with anyone. You understand? Once we establish what was taken from us, because again, what was taken from us, it had to be something great and awesome because they took it from us. But we can't see that right now because wherever our thought process is, you know what I'm saying? I can't speak for Suave. I can't speak for my brother Abo. I can't speak for my brother Hebrew, my elder Yara, or you, my sister, or my brother Mo. I can only speak for me, what I observe, what I experience. You see what I'm saying? And I don't try and speak for nobody. I don't try and speak for the mass because y'all ain't voted me into speaking for y'all. So I can't do so. So I'll sit back on that one.
I agree. And I think the book doesn't have the right to do that either. The book doesn't have the right to step in and say, this is your absolute truth just because I wrote it in these pages. You have the ability as your own creator to say, this is how I want to religiously live my life because this is what religiously satisfies and serves my soul. And that is called free will. That's called, your ability to think and reason and logic, and, add your own logic to things. We don't need a text to do that because, like Suave said, we created the book. The book did not create us, and it's simple as that.
Can I ask you a question, sister? You said that you don't need a book or an outside source of yourself to give you, it seems, to give you guidance. But if we're in a world where there is no God, when we know that there is one, but let's just say hypothetically that there is no God, that means that there are no absolute standards of morality, meaning that we're all free to choose and pick what is best for us to freely satisfy our own needs, meaning that there is no right, there is no wrong. It's just up to the individual to choose what they want to do. So if we have somebody like Hitler who comes out into the world and says, I want to go out and kill people because it satisfies me, because we're all granted that right, can't nobody point to somebody like Hitler and say he was wrong? Can't nobody look at Mao and say you were wrong for killing these 200 million people because that's what satisfies you? Because if we become our own standard of morality, that means that nobody is right, nobody is wrong. There is no such thing as right.
Hey, who is that speaking? I'm sorry, y'all. Who is that speaking?
That's Mo.
That's Mo.
Hey, Mo. Right on, Mo. Man, right on.
This is my thing that I don't see why people can't get it. First of all, you start the story off where you want to. Well, what if we have a Hitler? Hitler was reacting to something. So why didn't you say, well, what if we had a United States? Well, that was a reaction to something. But what if we had a Europe? So let's put it in context for real. Would you kill? Would you rape? Would you steal? So where is this source of killing, raping, and stealing coming from? Why are you so alarmed that just one day one of us is just going to want to kill everybody? That right there is the notion that's been installed into your head. Can y'all hear me? Hold on.
I can hear you, brother.
Yeah, I hear you, Suave.
Yeah, we hear you fine.
That right there is a misdirecting notion that was put into your head.
Can I reply to that though, brother? Is because
hold on, let him.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. Go ahead, brother. Suave.
So this is what I'm saying, and this also ties back into what Yara was saying, where he says, "Well, who's going to stop the greed? Not everybody has a home like you, Suave. Okay, so if Suave gets up every day, take one apple, and gone about my business, and let's say evil Suave comes and takes 16 apples, who should have the influence? Who should you say peep out Suave? You know what I'm saying?
It depends, Suave. Some people may want to follow the 16 apple Suave. It depends.
But this is what I'm asking. First of all, who would introduce that notion that to take 16 apples from the tree? Then if somebody did, why wouldn't Abo, Yara, Salmo Hebrew, Reese and Yashar say, yo, we got to do it like Suave? Why wouldn't you pick the person who has that inert intelligence and peacefulness and kindness, not to try to rule through murder and deception and wickedness? Why say I'd rather deal with that and then try to out-wicked him than, hey, you know what? I think we should be more like Suave.
But brother, the issue that I'm having with your explanation is you're using words like evil. Evil can only be established if you have an objective moral standard. Right. We're not talking about subjective morality. We're talking about objective. when we're talking about objective
No, you
morality.
would like it to be that.
Hold on, brother.
But that's not the truth.
Hold on, brother. Hold on.
That's false.
Hold on.
So we can't even let that be.
Hold on, brother. Allow me to finish my point. It's not. I'm establishing simple truths about the universe around us. Either truth is objective, meaning that it's outside of us, or it's subjective, meaning that it's determined by the individual. Me, I would much rather live in a world where the truth is outside of me, because I know that I am fickle. My emotions can change. The same thing that'll make you laugh or to make you cry, but wrong is wrong. So if you're going to use words like evil or good, you have to have some type of canon to be able to measure it by. If you don't have a canon to measure it by, all you're doing is giving us your subjective opinion. Meaning,
and what is a canon? Can you break down what a canon is?
A canon is something that you're measuring by, a standard, a rule. So if we're saying that, look, this action that is done by this person is good, what are you measuring that by? How can you say that another person's action is good outside of just giving your personal opinion?
Well, first of all, it's not an opinion. Laws, true laws, are universal. They have a consequence no matter who it is. Black man, white man, rich man, poor man. If I jump off a cliff,
truth, again?
Okay,
how do you
please have a little
truth?
bit more patience. Please have a little bit more patience with me.
Let him finish up, Mo.
All right.
If I jump off the cliff with a white rich man, we both die. If I go into a court with a rich white man, we both know that the chances are we're going to come out with different judgments. So to put things in perspective, good and bad exist whether you believe in it or not.
How?
If you show I'm gonna do that. When you see wrong, you know it's wrong. You get a feeling. There's something in you that makes you uncomfortable. It says this is wrong. Well, take them home, and then you see somebody go up to the tree with no apples, and then they're hungry. You know that's wrong. And what threw that off is that somebody took more apples than they were supposed to. You know this. Nobody has to come to you and teach you right and wrong. They have to teach you this systematic, manufactured right and wrong. Well, right is right and wrong is wrong. But you telling me, should I steal an apple out of the grocery store? Okay, was building a grocery store right or wrong? Was taking the fruit.
Brussoir, what makes it wrong? Is it because you're saying it wrong, or are you expecting people to absolutely?
That's my question.
No. It's wrong because somebody went to that tree that provides for everybody, and there was no apple there.
That's not what I asked, Brussoir. I asked, why is it wrong? What constitutes it as being wrong?
Now listen to the answer, because that was the answer. The fact
we got
that
an echo. Hold up. If somebody's listening to the playback,
it's
like
the fact
YouTube,
that it puts somebody else in a state of hunger. When you know that you have to eat to live, and you know that the trees provide food to everybody, no matter what they believe in. If I kick a tree and you hug a tree, we both get a fruit off of it. That's law. So,
but again, brother, how are you saying that is law? See, what you keep giving us is your personal opinion on what you think is right or wrong.
Absolutely
what I'm
not.
talking
now,
about. Hold on,
instead
brother.
of saying that, can you show me how that's true?
Okay, I'm showing you that it's true because, again, you have not established what is objective law, what is outside of us. All right. So me, all right, let's say, hold on.
Let me step in. Hold up.
Let me give an example.
Can somebody else talk?
Everybody, hold up. Let me jump in real quick. All right. So, I'm gonna pass it over to Sister Reese, but I will, and then I wanted to come back to Mo and Swab. But at this point, I do think we need to stay here for a second. All right, because here's the concern. The concern that I see, and I had also, looking at this as objectively as I can, is let's remove the Bible, let's remove pyramid text, let's remove the Quran, move everything out, right? Just remove it, blank slate. If we move to the point where we're talking about right and wrong, right? Because in one breath we hear, well, we're free to do as we want. We are free moral agents. But then in the next breath, there is some form of universal law, or there is some form of law that governs us. Well, I need to know where that law comes from. What is the determining factor of that law. I think that's what Mo was getting to as he was speaking about the canon. I call it a plumb line, right? If I'm building something, there has to be something that is level, like what's level or what's true north if you have a compass. And the reason I say that is I'm living in 2019, right? So in 2019, our communities, I have cousins who love me, know me, but they don't know the truth that I know. So their truth is I gotta rob and steal to live, right? My mom and my dad was either in gangs or on crack. And no matter how much me, Anon being their cousin, like, look, come live with me. I got you. Nah, this all I know, fam. This all I know. Right? That's their right and wrong. So that's what I'm asking. Like, and Sister Reese get it, then Suave can get it, and we'll come back to Mo and whoever. But what is the plumb line? What is the canon, to use Mo's word, for right and wrong?
So Mo mentioned that we have to put we have to lay out the lines about what's objective and what's subjective. To me, on the objective side, where truth is outside, or the way truth exists on the outside of ourselves, is the simple fact that a person like Hitler did what he did because he could. It didn't matter if everybody else around him could find the proper justification as to why it was just or not, or unjust. He did it because he could. And that's what we have to understand about this reality and things about things being relative, because everybody is a free moral agent. And because of that fact, we are all responsible for figuring out what is right and wrong to us, because internally, subjectively, the only thing that can be right or wrong is whatever you think right or wrong.
Sister Reese, give me 1 second. Brother Albo, for smoke breaks, we gotta turn off that camera. All right, up.
So that is something that we have to be mindful of, and we have to see what actually is going on in reality, like he said, around us. When we go to observe, you can look around you and tell what is a universal truth and what is not. Empirical truth is only applicable to all people. And like I said, the literary work of art that is really there to give you a literary understanding of science. The Bible is relative because it, like I said, embodies duality. So there is always going to be a part of the Bible that contradicts with another. There's always going to be somebody saying that something is right when somebody else saying that same thing is wrong. And especially when it comes to our social evolution, that's extremely apparent, because look at how Caucasians live their lives. The way they came about on this planet justifies the way they live their lives. They live very parasitic lifestyles for the rest of culture because they have to. That's the only way they can survive. And if it meant that that was the only way you could survive, would you say that it was wrong? The way that they go about the earth, pillaging, stealing, lying, killing, and doing everything else? If that was the way that you had to survive on the planet, would you say it was wrong that's the way that you're going about things? Enslaving people, lying to people, oppressing people, attacking them mentally and spiritually and physically. If that was the way you had to exist. Now, if they had never started doing these things, they would still be our slaves. And you have to know that if you know your history. Caucasians began the term slave in the first place because they are etymologically Slavic. Slavic. Slavics were the original slaves. And so, again, I ask you, would you be the one to say that it's wrong for them to subjugate everyone else to slavery when they were the first slaves? We can't be upset that they chose morally to survive in a way that they wanted to survive, because, you know, this universe says that you are supposed to pursue your own sustainability, your own happiness. These people have done that. It's just contrary to what we consider to be happiness and a prosperity and abundance and thriving. So we have to understand that the truth is within us. It's not about what's going on around us, because what's going on around us is contrary to what's going on inside of us. And that's where we have to understand what religion is for. Religion is for you to be able to apply what is inside of you to create things on the outside of you. And that's exactly what Caucasians do. They create the negativity, the whatever detrimental things they can come up with, and they manifest those things on the outside for everyone else to experience along with them. The only thing is that because their perception is changed from us, inverted from ours, they perceive things that we perceive to be bad, they perceive it to be good. And so we have to be in control of now creating things that we perceive to be good, even if they consider it to be bad.
So if I could respond to the sister, she said that you said that there was a duality within the Bible, and that's just simply not true. The Bible does not contradict itself. The Bible confirms itself. Also, the duality is not within the Bible, it's within ourselves. The duality is the choice to choose to do what is right or wrong, because God is the one who establishes what is right or wrong. What is more good more resembles the image of God, and what we consider to be evil is that which reflects the opposite of God. The further away from God it becomes. We within ourselves, hold on, sister, I allowed you to finish your whole point. Nobody interrupted you, and I would appreciate if you give me the same respect. The point that I'm trying to get across is you said that the original slaves the word slave is based on the Slavs. Yes, we understand that the Slavic people were slaves, but black people, white people, Chinese people, all people have been enslaved around the world. We just have a common word for it now. The issue that we see is the world has become godless, and therefore men have become the standards of their own morality. When we allow a man, hold on. When we allow a man or a human being to establish their own sense of morality and get to judge by their own standards what is good or bad, we already know that that which is good is going to be pleasing to that person, because oftentimes what is good to us is not based on rationality, it's based on what is pleasing unto us.
Who can allow a person?
Oh, ma'am, I allowed you to go on your whole spiel uninterrupted, and I
come on, man, wrap it up, though, big bro, because I want to respond too. I got you, Mo. Let's go, man.
Okay. Cool. The point that I'm trying to get across is this: there's only one way to view the world. Either there is a God or there isn't a God. If there is a God, then we should be trying to figure out what this God wants us to do, meaning that the morality that we have should be based on that God. If there is no God to judge and to guide us, that means that we are all just stardust that happen to become animated, meaning that there is no good, there is no bad, there is no left, there is no right. There's just perspective, meaning that the actions that we do.
All right. One movement was good enough. We get it. All right. Like, what is the rule of, what is the tool of measurement you use to decipher good or bad, right or wrong? See, this is what I'm saying. There's a creator, okay? There is a creator. Something pre-existed us and formed everything that is existing right now. Okay? I don't call it God. What you're using, the term you're using, God is painted on the roof of the 16th chapel, okay? This is what I'm saying. The laws are universal. Your food comes from the trees. When you establish a supermarket, you take the food off the trees, put it in the supermarket, you are breaking the laws. There are universal consequences to that. It doesn't matter what you believe in. That's the intelligence you must use to decipher right from wrong. It's not, well, what is the punishment or the reward? Listen, me seeing you go to a tree, me seeing 16 people go to a tree, get an apple, and see you go to a tree and not be able to get an apple, that's unlawful to me. That hurts you. Hold on. I'll let you get your whole spew out.
I didn't even get my whole spiel out. You cut me off. She went on for 5 minutes.
You reiterated 4 times. So what I'm saying is this. That's the intelligence you must have. That when I see you don't get an apple, I hurt. It don't make me weak. It don't make me any less of a man. I need to make sure you get an apple. So when I see somebody take 16 apples, I'm thinking it must be 15 handicapped people. That's a good brother. If we see 16 apples get taken and he eat 3 of them and the rest of them get wasted on the side of his bed, Who don't have the intelligence to know that that's wrong?
The world.
So no,
the world.
No, I
we
do.
see people starving every day.
Hold on. The
What do you
sister
mean?
has that intelligence. I had intelligence, and that's something that I see with my people where we like to play violent. Oh, if I didn't have the Bible, I would be a murderer and a rapist. Well, you need to listen to people like me and the sister because we not that.
Who said that? I never said that I would be a racist or I would be a murderer.
Did you hear the example that I used? I said that's my problem sometimes with my people with the Bible, where they must add. I did not say Mo. DJ Black Charm in the building. Go ahead.
Peace. No, I was just saying peace, man. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm just coming in on the.
I'm just making
all right, hold on.
Shalom to the whole panel.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, just real quick to everybody, just to reiterate the rules. I know we getting a little turned up. Let's kind of try to keep it clean. I'm gonna remove the 3-minute deal because I know it's a lot that needs to get brought out. But let's kind of be cognizant and let other people speak, and then let's go one at a time. Also, what I'm saying, keep it clean, keep it professional. If you got to take a smoke break, turn your camera off.
Yeah, my bad, Big Bird. My bad for that number.
With the 3-minute thing, can I just ask this? Because to me,
I removed it. I removed it, sis, because I understand. I was wrong for doing that.
I wanted to ask him on the end of that, just about the rules, because to me, a progressive discussion allows for it to build. And if a person says 5 minutes worth of information and somebody wants to interject with a question, I think that should be allowed instead of saying, "Oh, you're cutting me off." An interjection with a question allows for the discussion to develop, and I think we should allow for that.
Well, I thought that's what has been happening. What I have been seeing happen though is, rather than questions, sometimes people interject and start talking. And so I agree with you. I'm definitely game for let's ask questions if someone is talking. But what we can't have is someone interjecting and then wanting to
a host
want to run a whole deal. So let's kind of be
cognizant. If I could just say, can I ask my big brother Suave a question right quick? Because I'm still
absolutely. If I could just say, because I think it'll help the progression of the conversation, like. Because myself, I do that too. I reiterate 2-3 times, like the brother just did. Like, I have to understand that y'all understand what I'm saying when I say it. That's all. So just say what I mean. Go ahead, Abo.
Okay, Big Bird, repeat this. So now, at what point in time do you implement an absolute uniform system, or as we call it today, a law that no one should exceed the 1 apple rule? Or do we just continue to expect people to just, as you say, no?
Well, no. The thing is this. If someone takes 16 apples and they cannot see the reason why everybody has a problem with them taking 16 apples, it's just a matter of not socializing with them. We don't trade with them. We don't mate with them. That evilness dies when they die. Don't need to kill them, punish them. You just cut them off from doing the things that you do for loved ones because they're not loving you. And so therefore, I mean, I don't know whose house you're going to sleep on when you're away from your house and you need a break. I don't know, who's going to give you a bite to eat when you're away from where you're at and you need a bite to eat. I don't know who's going to give you children to continue your bloodline if you do not obey the universal laws, the way that things were set up by the Creator, not by my, ego or anything like that. Yeah, so that's just simply it. And I think that that's the worst punishment, is to be exiled. Like, man, like, I really love my people and I love them so much that I'm not gonna take 16 apples no more. I'm sorry, and we integrate you right back in. You are our brother, our sister again.
Now, don't you think? Now, it ain't even about a question.
Go ahead, Shah, because I had a follow-up question because he said some good stuff. But go ahead, I want to hear what you finna say, Fab.
I just wanted to just interject on what you're saying and just add to what this is why the Most High separated us even as a nation. You see what I'm saying? We didn't have this one big old entire land called Israel and everybody just functioned there. Nah, we had the land of Gad, we had the land of Judah. So we had our place to be able to live, and do what we do. You see what I'm saying? So it's not so bad of separation, But understand that we all need our space, man, to be able to do what we do, to add to the table. Because what I do is not what Suave do. What me and Suave do is not what the sisters gonna do. You see what I'm saying? We got to be able to love and respect what we bring it to the table. And I see that be a problem in a lot of conversations.
If I could tag on to the back of that, you see,
Mo, hold on, bro. I don't, because I did some BS by jumping in and brother Abel's question.
Oh, it's all good.
Oh, no, y'all good. Keep going, Mo. Y'all good. Keep going.
Appreciate
all right,
you, brother.
That's what's up, thanks, bro.
See, the issue with this idea that somehow we as people are just going to understand this universal laws, if it's like written on a wall somewhere that we can all go and look at, it's just not feasible, and it's just not living within reality. There's a reason why every country in this world has to set laws. Why? Because we know that people like to act outside of how they should be acting. There's a reason why we build jails. There's a reason why we lock our doors at night before we go to sleep. Why? Because we know that there